this setup looks familiar, it's because I just finished filming my last video, and I thought, why not? I'm already here. So this is just going to be a lieutenant log. My last one was talking about how I don't have my shit together. And I think for some context, I don't mean like everything's out of control. I have no idea what's going on. It's just I've been really busy, and I was a little caught off guard with how busy things are. And typically when I'm just tired and I'm feeling lazy, things just kind of fall by the wayside typically. And I really don't like when that happens. It makes me stressed out and anxious. So I needed to stay organized and kind of hit reset on a couple of things. And this last week was mostly planning. It was a short week and I had an overnight staff duty. So I just kind of railed through a bunch of work, as well as sleeping on the floor of my office one night. And as much as I would love to be able to make con-ops an entertaining thing to both show and talk about, I'm going to leave that for whatever lieutenant decides to take my place as the next person to do that. And in the last video, I talked about the black notebook that I just carry around everywhere with me. And when I say like I carry it around with me everywhere, I literally mean that. I've had people tell me that the time I had a green notebook, they literally did not recognize me because they can always tell who I am from a distance because of the notebook. And I've talked in the past a little bit about how much I do write just in these notebooks and like what I write in them and really how crucial they are for me to stay organized, both mentally and just in life. The particular one I showed in the video, this one was actually the first one that I had. And this name tape. This name tape is actually, it's actually one of the name tapes I was issued by plebe year of West Point, and it broke off because those things were always breaking off, and I just decided to glue it to this notebook because I thought it looked cool, and it did. I'm happy how it turned out, and I was always mad that those things were breaking all the time because our shirts are really thin, so even if we put something on the back to keep it from flopping around, they would always be breaking off if you took your jacket off too aggressively or you turned a corner wrong and caught someone else's name tag on you. I'm convinced that they made them weak as a scheme by big name tape in order to make us buy more name tapes, but that's a subject for another video for another week. And when I write in this thing, I've had the same format for writing things out for the last like 5-6 years. I don't do like bullet journaling. I don't do any other like weird notebook productivity hacks that I see other people trying to do. At that point, when you go into so much depth that you're having like multiple colors and charts and graphs and crap, that's just a hobby at that point if you're being honest, and it doesn't actually help anyone be more productive. And if you like look at the videos that people put out, they'll just have like a whole banner for their day that just says like crush it or kill it. You know, whatever those things that people that like rail White Claws and talk about their new app idea do. But since I have the green screen, I can just show you what it looks like up here. So for the most part, I have this side and I have this side. And I don't know if I'm going to switch in post, so I'm just going to refer to it as this side and on this side. On this side is like my daily tasks. I have the date, and then I just make a list of all the things I need to do during the day. And then on this side, I write what my focus for working out is, and then I make a list of what my workout's going to be. And then when I'm done with both, I write a line underneath. On this side, I'll write how I thought the workout went, or if anything went wrong. And on this side, I'll write like all the random notes that are required for the day. They'll just go down here. And it's literally that simple. For me, I can't keep up with all of the fanciness, so if I don't have a super simple way of doing it, I'm not gonna do it. And then it defeats the whole purpose of me even having the notebook to begin with. It's an honest way of me being accountable to myself and being productive and doing what I need to do. And another reason that I write it like I do is because it's a way of just saying what I did that day. If I think back to like my childhood or whatever, I have like a few distinct memories of just random things, like what my favorite shirt to wear was, and like the one time I went outside when it was cold and then I stood on the heater vents because they were warm. Just random, unimportant things that I still remember for God knows what reason. But then there had to have been literally thousands of small little moments like that happened when I was growing up that I literally just cannot remember, nor will ever remember. So they're basically lost. And then like when I was a teenager in high school, I can't tell you 80% of the things I did between the ages of 14 and 18. I just blew through those years like they didn't even exist. And so I realized in school that like I really wanted to start remembering what was going on around me. So instead of saying like, "Dear diary, today my roommate Louie bought a burrito and then he spilled it on the floor," I just write honestly what I'm going to do that day or what I'm actively doing as a way of keeping myself accountable, but it keeps me from having any kind of rose tinted glasses going on. So for example, for this past week, you won't find a passage that says, "Today, the men learned how to clear buildings more effectively," because I didn't write it after it already happened. I scheduled out what I had to do, and it actually says, room clearing training at 1300. Make sure Private Snuffy actually remembers his rifle this time. That is a much more honest take on what's going to happen during my day, and usually that's a lot more accurate as to how it happens too. So for example, if I look back in this and I look at the section where I cut off for notes for a briefing that I had to go to, and it's called the notes for the fucking brief, I know reading that I did not want to go to that brief. And by being at that brief, I was a little pissed. And then if underneath it's completely blank, that means I slept through the whole brief. So a West Point cadet being mad about a mandatory brief and then sleeping through the whole thing is a lot more accurate than me going afterwards a couple days later and being like, this week, Ambassador so-and-so visited my campus, which is true, but that's not at all how I experienced it. I want an honest depiction of how things were, and that's a lot more genuine on how things go. And as I'm older, I don't want to look back and just think like, I have no idea what happened in my life. Okay, bye.